Struggling with retroactive jealousy, is natural that you will be looking for a community, somewhere where people understand what you're going through and potentially have either gone through it themselves or are on the journey of recovery, or they basically know they get it. Especially when it comes to retroactive jealousy, it feels that people don't really understand it. It's a concept that most people are not even aware of, and it's also something that hasn't even been really researched. There are so it's an under-researched topic. So even therapists struggle with understanding it or making sense of it, or might not have heard about it. So it is normal that you would seek out a community, either on Facebook group or on Reddit, just to see that this is something that is normal. It's something that happens to many people. However, if you have been part of one of these groups, you might have realized that just being part of it, whilst it can validate what you're experiencing, doesn't actually necessarily lead to long-term healing or long-term change. And here are three reasons why that happens. First and foremost, as I mentioned, this validates. So it will validate your feelings. You will all of a sudden realize, oh my God, yes, a lot of people go through it. They get it. It is something that you might have mentioned to family members or your partner or friends, and they might not have got it. They might have just said, well, it's the past, forget about it. Why do you worry about their exes? Whereas when you meet people who have gone through it, who understand it, who are experiencing it, then you kind of realize, oh my God, I'm not mad. This is a phenomenon that a lot of people know. But whilst this validates, it doesn't necessarily heal. It doesn't necessarily mean that the short-term relief will actually lead to long-term changes. And the second thing is that it might keep you focused on the past. So you might be there re replaying, in a replaying mode, replaying the past, telling the same stories, saying the same things, or you might hear others saying. So it kind of not only normalizes that this is a phenomenon that exists, it might actually normalize the thing that you live with it. But you don't actually have to live with it. You can actually overcome it. So whilst it's good to be there to feel this validation that yes, this is real, this happens to many people. But if you are there and you feel that you you're you're to some extent um, stuck in the past, you're still stuck with feeling the way you feel about your partner's exes or your partner, and nothing is actually moving forward, even though you're talking about it, then it means that you need something else. And of course, the third thing is that it can accidentally trigger more anxiety. So by hearing about other people's stories, or maybe hearing about their success stories, who, let's say, started with you and have done something, might make you feel anxious. It might make you compare yourself or compare them or compare more. So it can lead to a lot more emotional turbulence because you are part of it, and you are this is where you are focusing. This is what you see. And of course, whatever we focus on, we see more of. We kind of get immersed in it. And that is never just on its own. That is always accompanied by the emotions, the mental patterns. So, just to recap, whilst going and joining such communities can be really good short term because it validates, you have to remember that it doesn't necessarily validation doesn't necessarily lead to healing. It can actually keep you stuck focusing on the past, focusing on RJ rather than focusing on the solution or taking actions towards the solution. And of course, it can trigger more anxiety just by being part of this system where these stories are constantly talked about. So, what is it that you can do instead? So, instead of focusing on what is wrong, finding a way forward, finding a way to reframe things, finding a way um, to not take for granted what it is that you think. It is difficult. I acknowledge it. So when you are in it, it is really, really difficult, but it is something that can be learned, or working with somebody who can help you eliminate all those things that fuel RJ so that when you go past the symptom, so that you can really enjoy your relationship and never have to even think about, let alone talk about RJ.